Hello footy fans, welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my 2022 AFL Finals predictions. This is a typical video that a lot of people are doing at the moment, so I thought I would jump in and give you my 2 cents worth. But anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into my predictions for the 2022 AFL Finals Series. So here we are on Squiggle. If you want to give this a go, by all means do so. I encourage you to do so. Head on over to the Squiggle website. It's a great website. I'll leave the link in the description below. Also, please note, I'm going to try not to go into too much depth with my week 1 tips because I want to do that on Bev's Footy Tips early next week. So stay tuned for that. And to stay tuned, the best way is to subscribe. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with the first qualifying final. Geelong taking on Collingwood at the MCG. Should be a good match. Geelong, I think they're the team to beat. They're the premiership favourites. They're the most likely team to go all the way. Of course, they've won 13 in a row. They're taking on a Collingwood team who have won 12 of their last 13 games. Collingwood have had a great season. Probably disrespecting them when I say this, but I feel like Geelong will win this game and they'll do it comfortably by maybe 20 points or more. Not trying to disrespect Collingwood. I just think the Cats are a class above some teams in the finals this season. So backing the Cats in. Moving on to the first elimination final now at Optus Stadium in Perth. It's Fremantle taking on my beloved Doggies. The Dockers, they're going to be heavy favourites to win this match. They're going to be hard to beat at Optus. But the Doggies, don't write them off. I know they just scraped into the 8. But they've been in this situation before where a majority have wrote them off. And they've gone on to defy the odds. They did it last year. They did it in 2016. And don't forget, they've beaten 3 of the top 4 teams. So they've beaten Sydney, they've beaten Melbourne, they've beaten Collingwood this season. They, of course, lost to Fremantle a few weeks ago. I'm going to sound biased with this tip, but I'm tipping the Doggies. I feel like they can go over there, give it a red-hot crack, provide a contest. I've got faith in my football team. Moving on to the second elimination final now. Brisbane taking on Richmond. Could be embarrassing myself when I say this, but I don't think the Brisbane Lions will be much of a threat this final series. I feel like they needed the double chance. They didn't get that after the poor showing against Melbourne. And Richmond, I think they might be the most likely team outside the 4 that can do some damage in September. So because of that reason, I'm tipping the Tigers, but I'm wary because the Brisbane Lions don't often lose back-to-back games at the Gabba. And then the second qualifying final should be a belter. Melbourne taking on the Sydney Swans. Sydney have beaten more top 8 teams this year. And they've won 7 in a row. So because of that, I'm tipping the Swans. But not writing off Melbourne by any means. It should be a good game, that one. So, that's week 1 of the finals done and dusted. We now move to the semi-finals. Collingwood taking on the Western Bulldogs. And Melbourne taking on Richmond. I'll start with the first semi-final. Collingwood probably will be favourites to win this one. It will be at the MCG, although the Dogs did beat Collingwood earlier in the season. They were the last team to beat Collingwood before they went on that big winning streak. But I know things have changed since then. Collingwood are a better team since they lost to the Doggies. But like I said before, I've got faith in my football team and I'm backing them in. I've probably just lost all my Collingwood viewers because I'm tipping Collingwood to go out in straight sets, which seems unlikely, but I can't tip against the Dogs. In this particular game, anyway. Should be a good match, though. And in the second semi-final, Melbourne taking on Richmond. If this game happens, it should be a belter of a match. Melbourne beat Richmond earlier in the season, but I think Richmond have become a better team since then. They've gotten better since then. And like I said, Richmond, I think, are the dark horse. They're the most likely team outside of the 4 that can do some damage in September. But in saying that, I feel like Melbourne are the slightly better team, and I'm tipping them to win and get themselves into a preliminary final. So, that's the semi-finals done and dusted. Now we move to the preliminary finals. Geelong v Melbourne, Sydney v Western Bulldogs. I'll start with the first preliminary final. It's premiership favourites up against reigning premiers. Geelong beat Melbourne earlier in the season. That was at GMHBA. This game will be at the MCG, so it will be a lot harder for Geelong. But in saying that, I've got to tip them because I'd be shocked if Geelong don't make it to the grand final off the back of their form this season. And I do think they've been better than Melbourne this season. So tipping Geelong to make it to the grand final and tipping Melbourne to make it to a prelim, but then lose and not make it to the big dance. Sorry, D's fans. Not going to be your year, according to my predictions. And then in the second preliminary final, I can't tip the Dogs in this one because Sydney are usually hard to beat at the SCG. And by that point, they'll have won 8 in a row. So, sorry, doggies. I've got to tip against you. And I've got to tip the Swans. So that means I'm tipping a Geelong v Sydney grand final, which would be a remarkable grand final because if it happens, and if I'm correct, Geelong will be coming into the match off the back of a 15-game winning streak, and Sydney will be coming into it off the back of a 9-game winning streak. So this will be a mouth-watering grand final if it happens. Should be a close one too. Of course, Sydney beat Geelong back in round 2, I think it was. It was the game when Buddy kicked his 100th goal. So, yeah, should be a good game this, but I feel like Geelong, they're the premiership favourites for a reason. They're the team to beat, and I think they will do it. I think they'll go all the way and become the premiers of 2022. They don't have the best midfield in the competition, but they're strong in all other areas. You look at their forward line. Jeremy Cameron in outstanding form this season. Tom Hawkins the same. Stangle, All-Australian. He's been one of the stories of the year. You look at their back line. De Koning, Stewart, all these other names as well. Blixarves, All-Australian this year. Rightly so. He is so versatile. They're just so strong, Geelong. They've gotten better as the year has gone on. And I think they are strong enough to go all the way and win the grand final. So there you go. That's my predictions for the 2022 final series. Just a quick video giving you my 2 cents worth. Let me know what you think. Feel free to comment down below your predictions for the finals. I'm tipping Geelong to win the premiership, and I think that's the most likely outcome. But let me know what you think. Of course, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. Like I said earlier, Bev's footy tips will be posted early next week. I'll be going through my tips for week 1 in a little bit more depth. So make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for that and all the other videos that I post here on the Bev Show YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your viewership. And until next time, bye for now. Go the doggies!